In this video, we're building something really exciting, a full-stack mobile music player using Next.js and TailwindCSS, also MongoDB for database. Hi, my name is Mehmet and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm with you guys to create another web app step by step, starting from setting up the project and databases to creating API routes in Next.js and a simple yet effective UI design to achieve your goal of getting the full stack app up and running. By the end of this video, you'll have a music player that loads playlists from a database and plays them seamlessly on mobile. Whether you are a web developer or just someone who loves music, you're going to love this one. Start our work by setting up the project. Open up Google and search for Next.js TailwindCSS. Open the first appeared result and here you see instruction. Open VS Code and new terminal. Write npx create next app with latest version. Name the project music-player. Also don't forget include TypeScript and ESLint in the end of this command. Wait for installation to get done. Then locate into project folder by using cd command. Now it's time to initialize TailwindCSS and its dependencies into the whole project. Let's add Mongoose using npm command. Mongoose is a JavaScript object-oriented programming library that creates a connection between MongoDB and the Node.js JavaScript runtime environment. It provides a straightforward schema-based solution to model application data. And we use a library named React Howler, which is a React.js wrapper for Howler.js, an audio player for web. Let's finalize TailwindCSS configuration by modifying Tailwind config file and add these routes. Make sure that global.css include these 3 lines of code. Write npm run dev command in order to run the project in dev mode. And here are the URI to the running project, and here you see the default example layout. Now we want to set up database in our project. Start the job by defining model. Create folder named model and a file song.js. Enter this file, we write the codes necessary in order to define our model. First import Mongoose, and then create a schema for our song table we want to be created in database. Const song schema equals a new Mongoose schema, and in this schema we need a title with type of a string. Also artist with a string type again, URI and duration which reflects the duration of song with number type. By this line, we tell Mongoose to create a new table in our database named song for the first run. And for next time, it will return song created in last runs. Now we need something to establish connection to our database into the project. To get this job done, create a folder and name it utils. Then create a file dbconnect.js. Import Mongoose and define a constant variable MongoDB_URI. In here we use .env file to secure our database string which includes username and password of our database. Create .env.local file and then let's go and create our database connection string if you haven't one. Search Google for MongoDB Atlas login and click on this result. Authenticate to Atlas account using your Google or other alternative methods. you can create a free cluster per account, but I have created mine before, so I can create another one. But if you didn't that before, you should be able to see the free plan in here. Good. After creating this free cluster, you should choose database in left hand side menu and click on browse collection, then follow procedure to create a database. For database name, write music player, and for collection name, write songs. Our database has been created, and in here you can see your data, of course after adding them. On left hand side menu, click on database again, but this time click on connect. Choose drivers button and choose Mongoose in this section. And here are the connection string I was speaking before. Copy this string and paste into .env file. You need to replace this section with your MongoDB cloud password. Let's continue our code. First, we want to write a piece of code to control availability of MongoDB _URI. And if it was not available, break the code and return an error. Then write this piece of code to check whether if it is cached or not. Okay, it is time to create API routes in Next.js app and use database connection established above. Create folder and name it pages. Another folder with name API and then a new file named sign.js. Import dbconnect function and also import sign model. Create an async function with params of rec and res. Now let's call dbconnect function we imported at line 1 with await method and create an if statement to check whether API request is get. Then write and try catch method. With this line of code, we tell database to search song collection for any entries and store it on songs variable. Then response with HTML server code of 200 and message including datas. And otherwise it returns a status code 400 with unsuccessful message. Now it's time to create components and use all the works have done before. In the root folder of project, create a folder and name it components. Then new file playlist.js. In this component, we want to code the playlist page and fetch data from API. First, import React. Then create a constant name playlist with data in function songs and set current song. Then write return function. In this function, we want to create the UI for our playlist and use dynamic data. We use map function to split songs into multiple of single songs and then for each song return the section of UI. For onClick function, we call set current song with song as parameter and then show song title, artist, and duration in UI using this piece of code. Now let's code another component player.js. Import React, then import header. Now define a new const player with params current song is playing and set is playing setter. Then define an empty player ref. And now it's time to define function for our player. Handle pause. In this line of code, we call set is playing with opposite of is playing. Then write and return for UI part of this component. Define main div and then we use a statement current song. If current song has something inside, we call howler with source of song, playing states and some trigger for end of the playing. Then show UI for player. And if current song was empty, we want to this piece being showed as UI. Now we done components and it's time to use them. In pages directory, create index.js. Import use state and use effect. Then import that to component we created in last step. Write export to fun function home. Create constant variable songs. Define a setter and we use state with empty array. Then current song like last line but with null. And then is playing with false as default value. In here we use effect. Use effect is a function in Next.js and React that call everything inside on each update of entire app. Then write fetch songs in async type. Create a new constant named res and fetch API route for songs to fetch data from database. Save received data in JSON type in this variable and then save in setter. And write a return for UI part of index. Define main div, then h1 type for header. Use playlist component with passing data we fetch in use effects into the component. And then player component with required passing params. Use npm run dev command to run project in dev mode. And we got error. It's for the reason that there is a conflict. We have two main files as index, and we have to delete one of them. Of course, the old one. Locate files in project, and in app folder, delete page.tsx. And we're done. App starts without error, but nothing exists to show because our database is empty. So we want to create an API route as bonus in order to add some data into the database. Create another API named addSongs.js. Import dbconnect and song model. Call dbconnect to establish a new connection into the database. Write an if statement to check whether request method is post or not. If this statement was true, we call something using try-catch method. Create constant variable as group of strings and equals to body of the request. Let's create some basic validation and check if all file title, artist URL, and duration are exist and not empty. Return error on any contradiction or otherwise continue. Gather and normalize data with this code. And finally, tell Mongoose to save that new string variable into the database and return success of this operation. But in case of any error, return error as response. Now open Postman or any other app you prefer to call our API in order to add data. Create a new request and select Post method, and then write API URI. Add body and select raw and write something like this. Don't forget for URI, put working link to music file, as I can do this for copyright issues on my YouTube video. Click send button and you see response from our API endpoint. Success is true and this track has been added to database successfully. Continue adding some sample music in database, then run project. You see it's up and running as smooth as we expect to be. I hope you enjoyed following along and learned something new today. If you want to dive deeper into web development or create more full stack projects like this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.